What is going on, YouTube? How to Train Your Dragon came out this weekend, which is the latest live-action reimagining from DreamWorks, where the story still follows Hiccup, who sets out on a journey to prove to his dad and his hometown that he can become a dragon slayer. But in the midst of his journey, Hiccup ends up befriending one of the most feared dragons in the Isle of Berk, called a Night Fury. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to try to keep this review as spoiler-free as possible, because assuming you have seen the 2010 animated version, this live-action remake is the exact same shot-for-shot film of that animated version. Now, with that being said, in my opinion, I believe the studio did an excellent job on how they recreated the characters and they brought them to life in this live-action remake. It was very well crafted on how they reconstructed the Isle of Berk, and the CGI of the dragons were done in a way to not look too photorealistic, like Game of Thrones style, but in a way to do justice to the animated film. And on top of that, the cast that they chose for this film really brought all of the elements to the live action and did a great job at creating the chemistry that we enjoyed in the 2010 film. Now, Mason Thames, who plays the role of Hiccup, I believe was a real good, solid choice. Real quick, if you're not familiar with Mason Thames, he starred in his first breakout role in a film called The Black Phone, which also stars Ethan Hawke. If you have not seen that film, it's an incredible film. I highly recommend it. They have a sequel coming out later this year, which I'm highly anticipating on. But like I said, Mason Thames was a really good choice for this film. I think he did a great job bringing Hiccup to life, really nailing his personality and his persistence that Hiccup has. Now, I was a little nervous on a different actor's voice for Hiccup, because assuming you've seen the original, Jay Baruchel voices Hiccup in the 2010 version, and he's got a very distinct, recognizable voice. It's really easy to pick him out in a film, but it honestly didn't bother me after seeing this remake. I mean, I really don't think Jay Baruchel's voice would have worked, especially if they decided to dub it over, and I'm glad that they didn't do that. And on top of that, after seeing this film, Mason Thames looks very similar to Hiccup in the animated version. I don't know if it's just his distinct features or if they decided to use cosmetics in the film, but everything about him worked great for this role, and again, I'm really happy that they chose him. So Nico Parker, who plays the role of Astrid, did a tremendous job. I know when they announced that she was going to be playing Astrid, some of the fans were upset because she did not resemble the character from the animated film. But again, this is my opinion. I think she fit that role very well, really honing in on Astrid's attitude, perseverance, and also building that same chemistry with Hiccup, just like in the animated film. She really doesn't hold anything back in this movie by bringing that character to life. Again, she was a great choice for this role, and I hope to see her continue into the future projects. Now, I'm not forgetting about my man Gerard Butler here. I was ecstatic to see him reprise his role for this live-action remake. I mean, he's been with these films since the very first one, starring in the animated trilogies, and even the animated series that they had, I believe, which ran about 40 episodes. But Gerard Butler fits the role so well. He just has that persona about him that really can make you believe he is a Viking or used to be a Viking. And it's just the way he carries himself and that deep Scottish accent that he has. And by the way, that's his real accent. He is a Scottishman. So I was really happy to see him come back for this movie. He is coming back for the second one, and I hope he continues to reprise his role for the third movie as well. But overall, I think they did a tremendous job on this film, bringing all of the same elements and the heartfelt moments from the animated film and recreating this movie the exact way that it was made in 2010. But with that being said, though, for me, there were a couple negative points that I just really didn't care about. I mean, starting off with the whole first act beginning of the film, usually in remakes, especially live action, I noticed that writers like to use these films to deliver a little bit of a backstory on some of the main characters, and obviously they did not do that in this film, which made the whole beginning of this film feel very rushed. And I did not feel that way about the animated film, because obviously, you know, there are going to be things that work in animated films that just don't resonate properly inside of a live action. So I felt the pacing was off a little bit, like they wanted to just hurry up and get into act 2 just to get into the action. And in my opinion, I wouldn't have minded them slowing down the pacing a little bit and not rushing Hiccup into trying to catch a Night Fury. And there were even some of the jokes that just felt a little awkward. Even some of the jokes that worked in the animated film, I feel didn't properly transition over into this one. There were just a lot of the serious moments that they tried try to deliver one-liner jokes, and they just didn't punch. So I wouldn't have minded if they would have left them out and just ran with the serious moment on the way it was. I just wanted to get those couple of negative points off my chest because that's, in my opinion, I felt just didn't resonate well with me, because there were so many good things about this film, especially the visuals and the dragons, because I really think they did a great job recreating the world to translate with the audience by not making everything so photorealistic. Because remember, this was an animated film, so I still enjoyed the fact that it still reminded us, yes, this is a movie, but this is what their world of realism looks like. I really don't think the dragons would have worked in this movie, especially Toothless, if they would have made them photorealistic. The younger audience, I don't think, would have been able to resonate with that. And even the director said they almost went a little too far with Toothless, that there was a point that he was going to look super realistic, but it wouldn't have worked with the film, for one, and two, they wanted to stay true to the original and do its justice, which they did, making him look identical to the 2010 version, but only to a point to how real their world looks. So like I said, even though it is a live action, it still had a sense of being an animated film and not a super photorealistic world of a movie. And as for the film being an exact copy of the original, I don't think DreamWorks wanted to risk this film ending up becoming a total flop, because you know they have been watching Disney and how they've been recreating their original classics for the last 15 to 20 years. I mean, Disney has dropped a ball a few times with their live action remakes. We just seen one happen earlier this year. And I think Disney needs to look at this as a learning moment for themselves and see that this is what fans want. If you are going to remake a classic, redo it in a way that you know the fans are going to love, and only change details that make sense. Don't go into it with the mindset of modernizing the film, especially if you want to make a lot of money, which is what I believe this film is going to do for DreamWorks. Overall, though, I would give this movie a solid 9 out of 10. I would recommend everyone to go out and see this movie, especially if you have not seen the 2010 animated version. Don't watch it, especially if you want to have the anticipation and the surprises. This is going to be a movie that I'm going to continue to watch throughout the years. And I also just want to state that everything in this video is my opinion and my perspective. So you guys go and see the movie. Let me know what your thoughts are. And most importantly, if you found this video informational or entertaining at all, please hit that like and subscribe button for me. But until the next review, I'll see you guys then.